When patients here at Life Care Center of Kirkland Nursing Facility are overcome with respiratory symptoms, or if they get coronavirus, they're rushed off to EvergreenHealth Medical Center less than 2 miles away. The doctor in charge of it all says his staff is prepared and they've been training for this scenario.
For our staff, there's a feeling of intensity. So the people are working really hard and meeting the challenges of what we're facing. The staff is calm.
Dr. Jeff Tomlin is CEO of EvergreenHealth in Kirkland, where several patients with coronavirus are being treated in an emergency department sealed off from the rest of the hospital. Not even air from that section can flow to other parts of the building. If somebody walks in and they're showing some symptoms,
Yes,
and they need medical attention,
yes,
what happens right away in that moment?
First thing that we do, and everybody's been trained with this, the first thing we do is get the patient mask and the person caring for them masked, and then we'll try to get them to the proper care. In this case, it would be our emergency department.
Dr. Tomlin says some Evergreen staff have tested positive for coronavirus, but it's not clear if they caught it in the community or at work. Were the appropriate protections in place for staff who'd be handling those patients?
So the protection would be the same for a bad flu outbreak. So they were all protecting themselves for what would be respiratory precautions. So they were doing that.
What do you think the next few weeks will look like?
I actually think the virus has been here. I think we're going to see more community-acquired cases rather than just from the local facility. I think the hospitals in the area, you're going to see increasingly caring for people with that. And I think the rest of the country is going to see it as well. It just so happens that we were first.
The Washington State Nurses Association pushed back on some of what EvergreenHealth said. They say some of their nurses who work at the Kirkland Medical Facility and came into close contact with coronavirus patients are not getting timely answers from their managers about what to do next, or they're getting conflicting responses on whether they should quarantine. In Kirkland, Ted Land, King 5 News.
All right, Ted, thank you.